Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. 'Cause I'm not holding it in anymore. I'm gonna shout it out loud. I understand now what I'm here for and what this life is about. It's about love, it's about laughter, it's about comfort and smiles. It's about love, it's about kindness, it's about hearts open wide. It's about love, it's about passion, it's about taking a chance. It's about love, it's about service, it's about lending a hand, lending a hand. So swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors of this heart of mine.
Good morning. So all clapping is welcome, all fanning is welcome. We're going to need to move our arms today to keep cool. But today, like every day, we have swung wide the doors to the presence of God, knowing that Spirit is in this place and in all places and all people. And just as the sun has awakened us to a new day, the Spirit of God within awakens us to divine glory. And this glory within and around us is everywhere we look and in every situation we encounter. With our hearts centered in Spirit, we can quiet our thoughts and meditate on the wonder of all of God's creation and our oneness with it. So take a deep breath. Become comfortable and gently release any cares of the day. Because your sole purpose in this moment is to experience the divine. And you begin to do so now as you relax in this sacred time and space at Unity Spiritual Center. Seeing through eyes of oneness, acknowledging our oneness. We at Unity Spiritual Center celebrate and honor people of every culture, of every creed, of every religion, of every race, of every age, and every lifestyle, knowing that there are many paths to God, many faces of God, many names for God, but only one God. And that God is expressing through all people in unique, special, and individual ways. As you look at the flame of the candle that we light every Sunday, remember that you yourself have a divine flame within, that you yourself are an individualized expression of God. We honor the one presence and power of God with Unity's foundation statement, which you'll find on the screen behind me, and I invite you to join me in saying it aloud together. There is only one presence and one power, active as the universe and as my life, God the good, omnipotent. We give thanks for our spiritual community and for the beauty of our spiritual center. We give thanks that Unity Spiritual Center is a welcoming, warm, and inclusive community dedicated to studying and putting into practice empowering principles and tools for happiness, health, prosperity, and successful living. We give thanks that with our spiritual teachings, we can create extraordinary lives and a peaceful planet through our relationship with the loving God presence within each one of us and through our relationships with one another. Our vision and the opportunity for each one of us here is that you discover the power within you to create the life of your dreams, that you have peace of mind and deep happiness, that you enjoy joyous and loving relationships with yourself, with spirit, and with others, that you spend your days doing what you love and feel called to do, and most of all, that you know that your life matters, that you make a difference, and that the world is a better place because you're here. If you're visiting us for the first time, is anybody visiting us for the first time? Just stick a finger up. I don't think that there is, but we do always give out our welcome chalet, not a chalet, a chalet, with a tag on it that says, just as God has a design for every shell in the sea, God also has a design for your life. We also pass out information about Unity, and actually all of you should have gotten our September newsletter when you walked in the door. And if you look on it on the back, you'll see my contact information, and just know that I am always open to having a conversation with you about Unity. If you're here for just a handful of times, or if you've been here for many, many years, just know that I'm always interested in talking about Unity in general and Unity Spiritual Center in particular. And of course, we invite you to join us for hospitality in the room next door following our service, where we will have a chance to talk to each other and just commune over a wonderful, tasty spread. So at this time, as we move into the meditative part of our service and prepare to raise our voices together in song, please do turn off your cell phones or any other electronic devices if you haven't already. And I will turn it over to our music director, Michael Hatfield.
Hola. We are going to get goofy. I like this tune. I don't know what it is about this tune that drives me crazy, but I thought I want to sing this one again. This is I Am Spirit Expressing. And this is one of those, shall we say, it's a bouncy song. It's a bouncy thing. So I think we're going to stand up for this. I think Ron's going to come and help me play some percussion on this. And I think we're just going to get a little wacky with it. And if you want to do your best Ethel Merman imitation, now's the time to try it, okay? Because there'll be safety in numbers. And it sounds like this. I am spirit expressing, and I'm glad to be here. I am spirit expressing every day of the year. I am spirit expressing, I'm a living word of art, made of love and light and music from the heart. Are we there? Okay, wait a second. I have to stop. I just want to hear everybody go, ah, ah. Make it hit the back of the room, okay? Ethel Merman didn't need a microphone, okay? We're going to sing that first verse again, okay? Because I don't think we quite dug in. Okay, ready? I am spirit expressing, and I'm glad to be here. I am spirit expressing every day of the year. I am spirit expressing, I'm a living work of art, made of love and light and music from the heart. You are spirit expressing, and I'm glad you are here. You are spirit expressing. expressing every day of the year. You are spirit expressing. You're a living work of art, made of love and light and music from the heart. We are spirit expressing, and we're glad to be here. We are spirit expressing every day of the year. We are spirit expressing. You're a living work of art, made of love and light and music from the heart. Okay, here's the test. What are we? Spirit expressing? Is that what we are? Okay, we have it clear. Back to that first verse. Loud, because I will tell you something. Thank you, Ron. Don't go anywhere. But when we're on YouTube and I listen back and I get to hear this thing, and I just hear me more or less, you know, because I'm on the microphone. But now I'm going to turn it over to you. Okay? You get it. Now we're going to be bad. We're going to be nationwide. Okay? We're going to be worldwide. All right, ready? Hello, YouTube. We're out there.
So, as we start to take it down a couple of notches and continue to get comfortable in our seats, relaxing even more deeply into this time of worship, prayer, and meditation, let us open our hearts now to receive the message of today's daily word, which will be read by our board president, Kathy Russell.
Thank you, Reverend Maggie. The word for today is life. Today I embrace the fullness and abundance of life. My spiritual path is not one of sacrifice and lack. I release any belief that I came into this human experience as punishment. This thought is inconsistent with Jesus' teaching. Jesus invites us to have life and have it abundantly, John 10:10, and reminds us that there is a spiritual good in even the most challenging of conditions. What is mine to do is to allow that spiritual life to express in every choice I make, every chance I take. There is no future in spirit, and I am a being of spirit. There is one presence and power in the universe, and I am blessed to be imbued with that divine essence. Today, I embrace my life fully and give thanks for the love in which I experience it all. The scripture for today is from Peter 3:10. Those who desire life and desire to see good days, let them turn away from evil and do good. Let them seek peace and pursue it. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Unity Spiritual Center is a center of prayer and healing. Our messages from the hearts of people in our congregation. So let's just take a moment to hold those prayer requests in our prayer box in our heart and know that perfect divine love is enfolding each person represented, and that divine order is taking place for all concerned. Prayer requests that are placed in the box are prayed on by me and our USC prayer team for 30 days, and then we forward them to Silent Unity at Unity's World Headquarters, where they're prayed on for an additional 30 days. If you'd like to fill out a prayer request forms, they're on the back table. They're printed on green paper, and you're always invited to fill one out for someone in your life or for yourself. I'd also like to take this time just to focus our prayers toward people who have been affected by the devastating flooding that's occurred not only in our own country in Texas, but also in another part of the world, in South Asia, in India, Nepal, and Bangladesh. This poem was written by Marianne Williamson, who I know many of you are familiar with. She wrote it as a prayer for Houston, but we know that these words can apply to everyone right now who has been affected by these floods. So let us just concentrate our love and our thoughts and our prayers toward all of those people. Dear God, to the cities filled with fear, send forth your love. To those whose lives are damaged, send forth your healing. To those in need of help, send forth your helpers. For those who are homeless now, may your arms be the only home they need. Come to them with comfort. Come to them with food. Come to them with shelter. Come to them with hope. Send angels, visible and invisible, to aid them in their time of need. And so it is. Amen. If you like the words of that prayer, I've printed it for you. It's on the handout that you should have received when you walked in the door. And on the back of it, you'll find a number of organizations that, as a community, Unity Spiritual Center of San Francisco will be donating to. It's important to say that we will be collecting donations for all of the organizations listed and sending them as a body, but please do make your checks out to the organization that you wish to support. And as I said a little further down on that paper, if there is an organization that we did not list that you'd prefer to send your donation to, please do that. We honor that. And the important thing is just to give. We live in a city that is prone to natural disasters, and I feel it's especially important to us, for us, to support our brothers and sisters in other parts of the world and nation when they experience one. So let's take this time now to make our prayers audible. This is the time to offer your prayer needs to your spiritual family here so that we can support you and stand with you. So after we've sung the introduction to this song, which is a call and response, you're invited to speak your prayer needs aloud, and we will answer each prayer request by singing, "Your prayer is my prayer too."
We are connected by the heart. Where do you end? Where do I start? Whatever you feel, I feel too. You're a part of me. I'm a part of you. Your prayer is my prayer too. 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 Get ready, there's a train a-comin'. Don't need no baggage, you just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesels humming. You don't need no ticket, you just thank the Lord. Oh. Well, people, get ready for the train to Jordan, picking up passengers from coast to coast. Faith is the key, open the doors and board them. There's room for all among the loved found and lost. Now there's always room for the helpless and homeless, whose life has been hard and feels so unkind. Have pity on those whose chance is hopeless. There's no better place than the kingdom's throne. People get ready, there's a train coming. You don't need no baggage, you just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesels humming. You don't need no ticket, you just thank the Lord. People get ready, there's a train a-comin'. You don't need no baggage, you just get on board. All you need is faith to hear the diesels humming. You don't need no ticket, you just thank the Lord. You don't need no ticket, you just thank the Lord. You don't need no ticket, you just thank the Lord.
Today because you knew the fans would be on. And it's okay if you did. Oh, it's hot, isn't it? Oh. But it's a great day to be here. I'm so glad to see all of you, some old and new friends. And I was starting my day, just checked into Facebook real quickly. And I saw this video that a friend of mine posted, Susan Reeve, who's actually been here before, who's talked at the church before. She posted this video. And this is going to sound familiar in some ways, probably, to some of you who've been in the business world or who've just heard this little example. So it's a video, and it shows a person putting a glass jar, an empty glass jar on a table, and first puts in big rocks, fills it with big rocks. And he asked the audience, is the jar full? And people go, yeah, the jar's full. Well, then he pours jelly beans in, those little tiny jelly beans, like the Jelly Bellies. He pours those into the glass, and they fill in the cracks, the gaps made by the rocks. And he asked the audience, now is the jar full? And the audience says, yeah. Well, then he pours in sand. And the sand, the fine sand, fills in the teeny gaps made by the jelly beans and the rocks. And he says, now is the jar full? And the audience says, yeah, now the jar is full. And then he pops open a beer, and he pours the beer in the jar. And the beer, of course, compresses the sand, and now the jar really is full. So then the narrator says, okay, and the point of this video is to show you that in order to make room for the important things in your life, you have to fill your life with the big things, the most important things first. And that could be like, family, it could be health, it could be your spiritual life. And then the littler things go in, and that could be like your work, tending to your household, whatever. And then the sand represents the small stuff. Save that stuff for last, so you can always have room in your life for what's most important. You've all heard some kind of variation of that, right? And then the video was over, and I thought, so what is that beer supposed to represent? I could not figure out the fun part. I kept waiting for that, right? but I digress. The important thing is that the concept that was illustrated by this is a really good example of what we're going to be talking about this month, this idea of order. And if you've been coming to USC this year, you know that we are looking at the 12 powers as taught by Unity, 1 power per month. The teaching behind this is that we all, every human being, has 12 innate powers. And that if we can cultivate these to their greatest extent, and if we can learn how to use them in tandem with each other, then we can not only become the highest expression of a human that we can, but we can actually demonstrate Christ consciousness. So that's why we're studying them, and the power for September is order. So that's what we're going to be looking at now. And Unity defines order as the ability to organize, balance, sequence, adjust. So that story that I just told you is a really great example of order, isn't it? You know, through that sequence of how the person was placing the elements in a jar, we were getting the idea of how it might be most effective to balance our lives, to adjust when we're spending too much time on the sand or the beer instead of the big rocks of our lives. So when you think of it that way, when you think of it as being our ability to choose what to focus on, to recalibrate when necessary, you can see that it's a really wonderful power, isn't it? And actually, it's the power that humans alone have. So if you look in your study guide, I'll take this opportunity to fan myself. If you look in your study guide, I've excerpted an article by this wonderful woman, Winifred Wilkinson Hausman. I've quoted her every single month, and she wrote around the turn of the century. And she was talking about this wonderful thing that the power of order is. She said it's the freedom of choice, really. That the order is the freedom of choice, and that humans alone, as co-creators of God, can think consciously, make decisions, and determine the direction their lives will take. All other forms of life simply follow instinct. Only we can think for ourselves and say, I will or I won't. So that's another way to think of it, is freedom of choice, the ability to make decisions. And that's a wonderful thing, isn't it? Because it means that we're not just stuck in a pattern, or we don't have to be. It means that at any given time, we have the ability to choose a new direction. And Hausman goes on to say, we are charged to use this ability to think, reason, and choose wisely to establish an orderly growth for ourselves as God's highest creations. We do this by awakening and training our center for order. So that's pretty clear, isn't it? That we are to use this power to choose orderly growth. We are to use it to evolve. And there's another Unity writer who's a little more modern. His name's Paul Hasselbeck. And he put it this way. He said, we use order to adjust and organize our thoughts, feelings, and actions to be the best person and or Christ that we can be. So that's what order means. And I think sometimes it's helpful just to kind of go over the definition, because if you were anything like me, when you just see the word order, it's like, well, what does that mean? It seems, a little hard to suss out and to see its relevance to my life. But that's what we're talking about. We're talking about our ability to choose, to recalibrate when necessary, to decide. So how do we know what to decide or how to decide? Like when we're thinking about our lives, when we're thinking about our rocks or our jelly beans or our sand or our beer, how do we decide where those go and when they should go where? And that's when we get into this concept of divine order. Now you hear divine order a lot in Unity. I've already used it at least once today. And when we say divine order, that's a way of saying that we affirm that God's will is being done. We affirm that things are progressing as the divine intends for them to be. And more specifically, what's meant by that is that we live in a universe of divine order. We live in a universe of principles, of spiritual law. And an easy way to kind of think about this is, and one that you can probably all relate to, is this idea of mixing colors. Now, I know there are a number of artists in the room, and they're going to immediately make some associations of what color mixing is all about. But I think we all know that if you mix blue and you mix yellow, you're going to get green, right? We just know that. That's something that always happens no matter who's doing the mixing. And the idea is the same behind principles and spiritual laws. They work for everyone. No one is favorited. It's not like some people, it works for some people and doesn't work for others. Spiritual laws and principles work for everyone. So that's what we're talking about when we talk about this being a universe of divine order. That if we do certain things, certain outcomes will occur, and everyone gets the same result. And there's a passage in Revelation 22 that's a very lovely invitation to this. And it says, "And let everyone who is thirsty come. Let anyone who wishes to take the water of life as a gift." So that's the idea, is that these principles are in place as our gift, as everyone's gift. We all get to have access to them. But the idea of divine order can sometimes be hard to get when we deal with things like we've been seeing in our world recently, right? When we see these devastating floods that have occurred in Texas, that have affected the family of someone we all know and love. Marcy's parents were displaced from their home. So when we see these things happening and around the world, as I mentioned, there are also terrible floods that are affecting millions of people in India and Nepal and Bangladesh. Then to say divine order sometimes feels a little empty, maybe, or it seems a little glib when we just say, divine order is taking place. So what do we do with that? What do we do with that? It really is an opportunity to kind of dig down deeper into our faith and into what it is that we believe about life and about the universe, the divine of our understanding. And interestingly, a Unity minister wrote an article about this very thing. And she started off by saying that, sometimes when I say, it's all in divine order, it feels like a platitude. It feels like it's glib. But then she wrote, she said, but I really want to probe this idea of what it means to say and affirm divine order. She said, order is the law of the universe. There is a divine and perfect order to all of life, even when we can't see it. She went on to say, to me, divine order is asking what is mine to do through prayer, and then trusting and allowing that process to take place. She went on to say that she often ends her prayers with, I let go, knowing it is so, and gratefully so it is. One of the most important aspects of prayer is releasing and trusting. So I found this extremely interesting, that she's specifically saying, to me, divine order is asking what is mine to do through prayer but then trusting the guidance that one receives and acting. And we have a wonderful opportunity to do that right now. And if you are on social media, or even if you're just, paying attention through regular news outlets, you've probably seen a little bit of pushback from some people saying, that's all great, that's all fine and good to say we're praying for people, but you know what? There are people who are hungry. There are people who don't have clothes. There are people whose possessions have all been taken away. There are people who've lost a loved one. And to just say, oh, well, we're praying for you. Well, we know the power of prayer. That's a wonderful thing. And that's an important thing, and we're going to continue to do it. And let our prayers have feet. Let us listen for that guidance as to what is also ours to do. What is also ours to do. And that's how we create order in our lives. That's how we create an orderly passage in our lives. As we pray and we affirm there is a divine, we affirm there is divine order, and then we listen. We listen for what is ours to do. And this woman, Gail, went on to say that, it can be a hard thing to do because sometimes we don't see immediate results, either, to our prayers or to the things that we're doing. Sometimes we might be, putting feet to our prayers and we still don't see that anything's changing. And she used the analogy of a seed. She said, we don't dig up our seeds after we've planted them, right? We plant a seed and it's in the ground and we can't see anything happening, but we're not going to dig up our seeds, are we? We're going to trust. We're going to trust that there is a divine order to the nature of the seed and that it will grow. It will grow into something. And so she said that when she takes time to ponder her natural surroundings, I see how important it is to trust divine order in every situation. There is one presence and one power moving in and through us in divine and perfect order. Trust and know this to be true in your own life. So I just wanted to say that if any of you have been struggling with this idea of divine order and what does that mean, you're not alone. You're not alone. And just like will seemed to be very relevant to what we were going through as a country and a world last month, so does order seem to be very relevant to us right now. And another way to think of this is spiritual law, because interestingly, in the 12 Powers of Man, in which Charles Fillmore first introduced this idea, he called the chapter on order spiritual law and order. So if we're trying to figure out what the orderly thing is to do in our life, if we're trying to figure out what is our next step, what's the next big rock, then you might want to ask, what would spiritual law have us do? And Winifred, our friend from the turn of the century, said that order is the outgrowth of our complete agreement and cooperation with spiritual law. This is a process that must be complete in mind, in emotions, and in actions. So this idea that if you're trying to figure out, what is orderly, think in terms of spirit and what spiritual law might be asking you to do. But if that still seems a little too cumbersome or a little too abstract, there's an even better way to think of it, and that's in 2 words. God first. God first. So looking through all my books on the power of order, I found this, and I thought it was the best. It was a paragraph from How to Use Your 12 Gifts from God by William Warch, and this is what he said. Order is your ability to keep God first in your continuous development. You might think these explanations of order are too complex to comprehend when one is facing chaos and confusion. Kind of feel that way? I gave you that, like funneling it down here. Yeah, some of those are a little complex. How does one find order and proper sequence under pressure? Just say God first. That's all it takes. That starts your consciousness accepting the proper connections and sequences of information and inspiration. If you can place God first in any situation, that situation has no choice but to fall into order. So what are the two words we need to say? God first. And so it is. Thank you, God. So as we take a few moments to kind of ground and anchor this idea of order, let us first remember who we are by singing our meditation song, Holy, Holy, Holy. We'll begin with We Are Holy. We'll move to You Are Holy, and we'll end with I Am Holy.
We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We are holy, holy, holy. We holy, holy. We are holy. You are holy, holy, holy. You are holy, holy, holy. You are holy, holy, holy. You are holy. You are holy, holy, holy. You are holy, holy, holy. You are holy, holy, holy. You are holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am holy, holy, holy. I am
So as we relax more deeply into our chairs in this outer sanctuary, let us begin now to enter our inner sanctuary. You might want to take a couple slow, deep breaths. Just feel yourself being held by that chair. And if you haven't already, close your eyes. And begin to picture in your mind that you are about to eat manna from heaven. You may want to see this as a very special loaf of bread, which is imbued with higher energy and all the spiritual nutrients you need to solidly host that light of spirit in your mind, emotions, and body. So I invite you now in your mind's eye to hold out your hand and visualize the manna or the bread in it. And then place that light-filled bread in your mouth. Chew it. Sense its flavor. Swallow the bread in your mind's eye and visualize it beginning now the digestive process. And as you see your body assimilating the manna, affirm, I am receiving and absorbing all that I need to bring about divine order in my life. And next, visualize all those light-filled nutrients traveling to all of your bones. Just feel that higher energy being absorbed and anchored in your whole skeleton. And if there's any bone or a joint that needs healing, just direct the light, particularly to it, and affirm, I feel divine order in my bones. Divine order flows throughout my consciousness and throughout my body. And then visualize these nutrients of light and energy flowing from your center to all of your skin. And just see your whole body radiating with light that shines in and through your skin. Focus, if you need to, on any part of your skin that needs reinforcement, revitalization, regeneration, or reinvigoration. And just think about divine order being reestablished in that section of your body. And now, consider any part of your life where you may need more order or more organization. Any part of your life, whether it's one of those big rocks, one of those smaller jelly beans, sand or beer, wherever it is that you may need more order and organization. And affirm, I see and bring forth divine order in my relationships. I invoke divine order in my work. All is right in my home. Harmony and balance and order now reign in my personal life, in my community, and all throughout the world. And holding on to the sense of order, affirming again divine order. That divine order is taking place even when we can't see it. And knowing that at any time you can return to your inner sanctuary. Begin now to return to this outer sanctuary. Moving your fingers or your feet Perhaps taking another long, slow, deep breath. And when you're ready, coming back to waking consciousness and opening your eyes. Unity offers positive, practical, progressive spiritual teachings and tools that honor the universal truth in all religions and respects each individual's right to choose a spiritual path. And here at Unity Spiritual Center, we have an inspiring vision, an exciting mission, and compelling values by which we strive to live. And I invite you now in joining with me in saying them aloud together. Our vision is, centered in God, we co-create a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. Our mission is, we are a creative, joy-filled spiritual community dedicated to healing, inspiring, and transforming the lives of all people through prayer, education, and love. And our values are, we are spirit-led, generous with resources, inclusive, joyously creative, and guided by integrity. And in this beautiful, warm space, feeling inspired by our vision, our mission, and values, feeling enriched by what we've experienced here today and what we're about to experience in the next room, let us take time now to be a channel for enrichment through our generous tithes and love offerings. Practicing the principle of tithing ourselves as a spiritual community, we are pleased to tithe 10% of the offering collected today to Unity Worldwide Ministries and the San Francisco Food Bank. And just a note, these are the organizations that we tithe to on the first Sunday of every month. We will continue that tithe, so when you donate to help with the flood relief, just know that we are actually touching additional organizations as well. So let us take time now to bless our offerings and our tithes, cupping them in our hands or perhaps placing them next to our hearts as we say our offertory prayer. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
All right. Do I have some lyrics up there to see? Because I'm going to need help on one thing. Yeah. See the things in the parentheses there? That's you guys. You know, the minute I do this, you'll know exactly what to do, okay? Everybody okay with this? We're all on board? Okay. Every time I met a thing that makes me think I can't do it, it's all right. Whenever I need to make my dreams real, I can do it. You're out of sight. So fee, fi, fo, fum, look out, baby, 'cause here I come. And I'm bringing you a love that's true, so get ready, so get ready. God has also got a plan for you, so get ready, so get ready. Here I come, get ready, 'cause here I come. I'm on my way, get ready, 'cause here I come. You wanna play hide and seek with my life? Let me remind you, it's alright. The love you're gonna miss and the time it takes to find you, it's out of sight. Oh, so fiddle-dee-dee, fiddle-dee-dum, look out, baby, 'cause here I come. I'm bringing you a love that's true, so get ready, so get ready. God has also got a plan for you, so get ready, so get ready. Here I come, get ready, 'cause here I come. I'm on my way, get ready. ready, 'cause here I come. Here's the middle part. This is where you stand up and turn around. All my friends can come along to you, understand it, be alright. I hope it gets to you and sees you through the way I planned it, be out of sight. Oh, so twiddly-dee, twiddly-dum, look out, baby, 'cause here I come. I'm bringing you a love that's true, so get ready, get ready. God has also got a plan for you, so get ready, here I come, get ready, 'cause here I come, I'm on my way, get ready, 'cause here I come, I'm on my way, get ready, 'cause here I come, get ready, 'cause here I come. Thank you. We give thanks for the many blessings that are in our church this very moment. We open ourselves to the infinite possibilities that are ours to choose. We are filled with a mighty faith that empowers and frees us to live our divine purpose and serve our community with excellence. And so it is. Amen.
To Marcy and Lynn for helping us with the sound equipment and also preparing the beautiful slides. To Kathy for being our greeter at the door. And Candy, I know, has prepared something for you in the next room. So let's give all of them a big round of applause. And I just want to make a few announcements. The first thing I want to do is just check in. Is everybody clear, or does anybody have any questions on what we're trying to do regarding donations? Did you have any questions about who we're donating to? Or it's all clear what's happening here, right? Yeah. Yeah, I think probably we'll keep it going through next Sunday too, because we're having our homecoming Sunday next Sunday. So I think we'll keep it open for at least 2 Sundays. Yeah, so there's time. Shirley. It's fine to do that. Yeah, you just made up to the organization you wanted to go. Perfect. All right. So as I said just now, our homecoming Sunday is next Sunday, September 10th. So what that means is, you know, at this point, most people have done their travels. It's kind of back to school. So this is our time to come together as a bigger group and find out what's been going on this year, what we're planning for the year ahead. We are trying something new this year. We're going to include our town hall meeting in our homecoming Sunday. So it's a very, very important day for you to be here, because this is where we really take a look at what's happening in our church and next steps that we need to go forward. So honestly, if you don't attend any other service in September, please be here next Sunday, September 10th, for our homecoming Sunday. It's a very, very important time to come together. We are also having Reiki 1 class offered again. I took the Reiki 1 class that was last offered. I want to tell you, I'm a fan. Cheryl does such a great job, and I'm so pleased to have learned in greater depth these tools. So I would be happy to talk to anybody about Reiki 1. I know there are also other people here who've taken it and who are big fans too. But if you've had any curiosity, I highly recommend Cheryl's Reiki 1 workshop. We also are doing our creative salon. That's going to be on the 29th. We have a new artist coming in. I know a couple of you have been to these creative salons. They're so special. I will say they're geared more for women, but men are welcome too, but if you're a woman in particular and you just are looking for a time to be in a smaller circle with other like-minded, like-hearted women, it's such a special time, and these artist teachers are coming in and just giving us a really special experience. So do mark your calendars for September 29th for that one. And if you would like to experience unity principles and just have, meaningful, rich discussions in a smaller group, come on Tuesday night. We started, or we thought we started, our Prosperity Plus class on Tuesday, but we really are thinking about co-creating it to be something that feels relevant and timely. We probably will continue to talk about abundance and prosperity, but we're kind of co-creating this as we go. So if you'd just like to experience a smaller group discussion, please do come on Tuesday night. Don't feel bound by the description of Prosperity Plus, because we're kind of tweaking that a little bit. So that's Tuesday night, 6:30 to 8:30, and we'll be doing that throughout September. I think that is all the announcements for right now, so we will bring in our children.
I hear them out there. Leo, Diolo, this little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the presence of God in you, empowering you to do great things. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, family all are we. Let me walk with my family in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and light of God surrounds us. The love of God holds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. Wherever I am, God is.